sharing time, Deputy Smith.
Carpenter, yeah. I put my name to this cross-party motion, and happy to do so because period poverty is a very real issue for women struggling to get by, and particularly for women living in homelessness or direct provision. But I have to say, a week ago when the report came out from the Vincent de Paul on the poverty rates among lone parents, I thought about this motion with a certain degree of disgust and anger, because I've co-signed a motion with many deputies who have been party to imposing austerity measures of the severest kind on lone parents over the last two governments. There was one thing that caught my eye, though, that I just want to highlight. I don't think many people will be aware of the stats around it, because the motion promotes healthy and environmentally friendly sanitary products. And indeed, the products have improved greatly since I was a young one, but they use much more plastic. And they show, the statistics show that the average menstruator uses more than 11,000 disposable products in their lifetime. That's based on 37.5 years of menstruation, using 22 items per cycle and 13 cycles per year. So they did a study in Britain on the amount of pieces of menstrual waste that were found on beaches, and on average there's 4.8 pieces of menstrual waste found in every 100 metre of beach. So this gives us an argument for why we really do need to promote recyclable and eco-friendly products. And there are many alternatives. Younger women tell me that their menstrual cups are a great alternative to pads and tampons. A small cup made of medical-grade silicone, folded and inserted into the body, sits at the base of the cervix, collecting menstrual fluid, is reusable, eco-friendly, comfortable, leak-free, and a single cup can be used for up to 15 years. But really the main point I do want to make is about poverty, and poverty inflicted on those who live in low-pay and precarious jobs. The period poverty that is suffered by workers who have no security, who may have very, very heavy periods every month. Although we don't have the figures for it here in Ireland, there are British statistics that suggest that as many as 1 in 5 women miss at least 1 month a day because of painful periods. And if we were to proportionately bring that figure to relate to Ireland, you're talking about 250,000 sick days that women have take a year because of period pain. Now, for professional women, it may be just a case of stay at home from work on that day when the period is at its heaviest and that's most painful. But for those at the bottom of the labour market, it's a very, very different story. Having a sick day every month could well lose you your job. And even the number and length of toilet breaks in many jobs like shops and factories are being monitored all the time. So in work poverty for periods can be worse for those who are on precarious contracts. These kind of workers suffer very real period poverty, and something that can seriously lower their wages if they have to skip work for a day or part of a day because of severe pain or heavy bleeding. In some Asian countries, which are not conceived as the most progressive, labour laws allow for 1 to 3 menstrual days leave per year as a right. So I think we need to ensure, as well as campaigning on these issues, that we fight for industrial relations laws that will allow for period days off to be recognised and paid for, not by some employers but by all employers. It's clearly a trade union issue that we should be encouraging people to relate to. But I just do want to end on saying this one thing. On the lone parent Vincent de Paul study last week, it was quite shocking to see the sort of statistic that showed that poverty among lone parents doubled from 2012 to 2017. That in 2012, before the cuts, 1 in 11 households headed by working parents was living in poverty, but that today is now 1 in 5, and that's directly as a result of Joan Burton's austerity measures that have been perpetuated and held alive by the current minister and those who went before her. And I think that that probably goes to the heart of the harshest measures that we impose, female deputies as well as male deputies, on women in particular, to ensure that that poverty is increased during austerity times. And it's a well-known and well-recognised fact that the burden is borne more by women than any other sector of society. The Minister for Finance said it himself at the time. He was picking the low-hanging fruit first, and in that he was describing women in precarious jobs, lone parents, women in homelessness, etc.